9 out of 10 Crystal Skulls agree. Click like and subscribe to the Heavy Underground. Ooh, that one skull, let me tell you. With a backing band of notably influential musicians who themselves were deeply influenced by the work of the MC5, brother Wayne Kramer brings his MC50 celebration to the masses in 2018. In honor of 50 years of the MC5's iconic Kick Out the Jams live record, released in 1968, brother Wayne is joined by brother Brendan Canty from Washington, D.C. post-hardcore groundbreakers Fugazi, brother Marcus Durant from San Francisco's Zen Gorilla on vocals, the low-end monster brother Bill Gould from the inimitable Faith No More on bass, and Seattle's six-string maestro brother Kim Thale of Soundgarden on second guitar. Revisiting this album in its entirety, brother Wayne's band of sonic reprobates also delves into the diverse prototype rock of the MC5's extended catalog to further highlight the matchless influence of Wayne Kramer and this Detroit institution. Joined by long-running local alternative punks ATS and fellow Motor City rockers the Detroit Cobras, brother Wayne Kramer has come to the sonically reformed Church of Mr. Smalls to testify to the power of rock. Up first is ATS, aka Another True Story, representing Pittsburgh's alternative cowpunk scene beginning in 1985, minus a lengthy hiatus that ended in 2010. ATS begin the night with a tongue-in-cheek announcement of their 33 and a third year anniversary before letting loose with a set of mischievous, jubilant, punk-inflected alternative rock. Taking off with Beside Himself, ATS begin their set with some quirky alternative rock that careens between post-punk squonk, new wave accessibility, and fragments of careening punk, an appropriate introduction to these apparent Pittsburgh mainstays as the band's set gets underway. Up next, the second song, apparently titled About the Government, settles in for a foot-stomping jam. Accompaniment on horns and background vocals throughout ATS's energetic performance add a layer of flair to the band's spirited mix, with an appearance from a 40th President Ronald Reagan only dating the band's political touchstone in a comically entertaining 1980s sort of way. Guitars chime and scrape throughout the third song, occasionally digging into a burly Western chug or gang-shouted escalation. This song offers a particularly catchy chorus for the audience, while up next, exuberant cowpunk bounce from the stage on the band's fourth song of the night. With a twang in their step, ATS quick step through this song in barely a minute and a half. A brief tuning session finds the guitar in need of some serious harmonic correction, and eventually, the fifth song is introduced as a song about a premonition. ATS's next entry in the set haltingly crashes from the stage as a chorus of voices rise with the guitar before a strident charge overtakes the song. A punctuated punch staggers from the stage before a slow and awkward waltz fills the room, only to surge again with a fast-popping solo that ushers in the song's end. A stilted stagger slowly rides the undercurrent of song number 6, occasionally swelling into a noisy caterwaul as a sly guitar expedition winds underneath. The band's sixth song offers a disorienting ride for the growing crowd. Picking up the pace, Lucky Number 7 rocks from the stage. With an air of countrified stank, ATS hit an enlivened note on this song. Like the Meat Puppets and Leonard Skinner had a bastard cowpunk child in the shadow of a steel mill, ATS provide an entertaining melange of rock, punk, and countrified twists. The next song, the band's eighth, hits with a surprising loose and swinging rock swagger. Horns and blues-laden guitar licks only heighten the impact of this boisterous song as ATS near the end of their allotted time. With about 5 minutes to go, circling guitars begin to ominously harass the audience to open the next song. While the vocal melody reminds of an easily identifiable 80s song, ATS's ninth song circles the crowd with a hanging riff until a bass run ushers in an up-tempo foot stomper to close the show. A hurried pace hauls the band's 10th and final song along with a hearty rush. A delirious guitar solo rockets through the pounding sound, and harried, multi-pronged vocals rush over the audience on ATS's penultimate burst of sonic energy for the night. Swinging cowpunk motifs give way to sinewy alternative rock swing from this longtime local act. Freewheeling horns and a carefree, near ecstatic delivery accentuate an energy filled set from ATS. Birthed from the raucous rock nursery that is the Motor City, the Detroit Cobras have been peddling their brand of stripped-down throwback rock and roll since 1994. Led by Rachel Nagy on vocals and Mary Ramirez on guitar, the Detroit Cobras bring a brawny undercurrent to their strident take on vintage rock, whether from their early days blasting out energy-soaked covers of golden age rock classics to their rip-roaring original compositions from the last couple decades. Vocalist Rachel Nagy begins the show by announcing that she just had 13 staples removed from her head. Medical conditions be damned, these Detroit-based garage rock enthusiasts lay into the audience with a swinging beat and countrified shuffle on the Detroit Cobras' first song. A brusque gait shepherds the next song into motion. The band's rough edges lend a crumpled and dusted veneer to the second song's muted yet insistent perpetual motion. Vintage rock swing emerges on the next track with a sly back pocket take on the Bryce Cofield composition Cha Cha Twist. A quickly paced rave up follows in the cleanup position as the Detroit Cobras' fourth song successfully pleads their case to be the official house band of Delta Tau Chi, the fraternity from Animal House for those not in the know. An underhanded shout out to the Detroit public school system follows before the band's fifth entry dances into an up-tempo 1950s lovelorn lilt. Propulsive drum work emerges as a less than subtle driving force throughout this song, as well as the entire set. Too Cool for School swagger inflicts the next sixth song as the band continues to travel the burnt and ragged edges of vintage rock and roll. An underhanded swing marks this song, and a sorted guitar solo rides along the song's waning moments. Next, song number 7 inflicts an insistent momentum as it batters forward on a persistent number from our Motown Marauders. Commenting on some of the true joys of life, Rachel Nagy cues up the next vintage rock-fueled sonic excursion. Wandering guitar and a lackadaisical gait highlight the Detroit Cobras' 8th song on the night. Following Song 8, tribal percussion underlies a sinister manner on the band's 9th and final song. Dirty guitar weaves in and out as the Detroit Cobras riff their way out, leaving their drummer behind to close out the song soon after. Following the western-tinged alternative extravaganza of local punk's ATS, the Detroit Cobras follow in a rough-and-tumble cyclone of singed and crispy vintage rock and roll. From a low-key, barreling shuffle to unapologetically unadorned raw rock power, unforgettably rough edges shadow the Detroit Cobras' traditional rock rave-ups throughout their 30-minute set. Reaching the summit around which tonight's exaltation revolves, the incomparable brother Wayne Kramer has assembled an action-packed assemblage of musicians to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the MC5's iconic live album Kick Out the Jams. Joined by a bevy of influential acolytes, including Fugazi's Brendan Canty on drums, Marcus Durant from Zen Gorilla on vocals, and in an extraordinary coup, Billy Gold from Faith No More on bass and Soundgarden's Kim Thale on second guitar, the stage is set for a vibrant send-up of this seminal live album. Taking to the microphone, Brother Wayne belts out the set-opening Rambling Rose in an energetic send-up of this roaring classic. With an exceptional assemblage of Motor City disciples at his back, Wayne Kramer's MC50 celebration is primed for sonic combustion from the start. with its iconic exclamatory lead-in, Kick Out the Jams powers from the stage next. Brother Canty's percussive battery and Brother Gould's surging bass drive the song forward as the guitar masters Kramer and Thale deliver an assailing surge on guitar. Brother Durant's resonant voice and lurking stage presence offers an undeniable and sincere tribute to the MC5's departed frontman Rob Tyner. Climbing tension and mounting power swarm from the stage as Come Together follows in succession. Pleading for cohesion, Come Together erupts with a spiraling solo from Brother Kramer to usher in the song's second half with a strident charge. Understatedly introduced as a little story about Detroit 1968, Motor City Burning slinks across the room. Topical, relevant, and in your face, the MC5 were never shy about interjecting a cold dose of reality into their sonic testimonials, and this low-slung blues review more than exceeds the moment. Before introducing the next song, Brother Kramer presents his outstanding backing band to the audience to knowing applause. Next, Rocket Reducer number 62, Ramalama Fa Fa Fa, drags from the stage in a staggering open before erupting in a sharp-edged flurry. Hard-charging rock fury ensues with rapturous excitation before Rocket Reducer's singular refrain of Ramalama Fa 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 echoes through Mr. Smalls before a loose drawdown rambles along to close the song. Some light guitar interplay between brothers Thale and Kramer follows before the opening moments of Borderline claws from the stage. Plodding guitar chimes in swarms from the amps, shifting into and out of mind-warping churns of aural gravity. I Want You Right Now, originally by the Trogs, careens forth from Brother Wayne and the Boys. A longtime live staple for the MC5, I Want You Right Now offers a sonic whirlpool of musical brawn, brassy balls, and a devious low-key swagger. Dive-bombing guitar and a pounding beat herald the beginning of the album-closing clamor of Starship. Building tension circles in on itself with disorienting vocals being eviscerated by screaming guitars that descend into a psychedelic vortex that would curdle Timothy Leary's misguided sensitivities into cerebral goo. 10 minutes of Starship concludes the night's tour of the MC5 classic album Kick Out the Jams. However, the show continues with a selection of MC5 songs from across the band's influential discography. A cover of I Can Only Give You Everything, originally by the band Them, continues the show. Riffs stalk from the speaker like a predator circling its prey on this 1967 single. A psyched-out solo intercedes before the band ratchets the intensity up a notch with a rollicking rock and roll send-up to end the track. Next on the docket, the surface simplicity of High School belies the song's powerful rhythmic tide as the band churns forward in lockstep. Billy Gould's forceful bass pushes this song from 1970's Back in the USA forward. Thanking his former and sadly departed bandmates, Brother Wayne Kramer acknowledges the half-century mark since the creation of the band's influential sonic corpus. After a well-deserved round of thank yous, Shakin' Street, also from 1970's Back in the USA, hurtles forth. Harmonica squalls and a sauntering swagger inflect this dose of straightforward rock. Slowly rising, Future Now from 1971 emerges in reverse, with a solitary guitar plea from Brother Kramer leading the way before returning to the start with Brother Gould's hustling bass launching the action. A screed against complacency, Future Now springs around the room with a masterful solo from Brother Wayne, simmering through the barreling rhythm. Wasting no time, the band quickly switch into the laid-back swing of 1970s Tonight. Innocuous depth charges of eroding riffs continually wash over the listener in a hard-rocking tide of bass-churning distorted glory. Aggressive rock tactics permeate Call Me Animal, also from Back in the USA. Spry six-string interplay between brothers Thale and Kramer offers a constant source of enjoyment, while an undeniable trace of noise rock shows the far-reaching influence of the MC5, especially on the relentlessly assertive angular rock of the Jesus Lizard. For the next song, Brother Wayne declares a lady's choice as the band hits the brakes for a soulful crawl to open the encore portion of the evening. Back in the USA's Let Me Try ebbs and flows as rising tensions dissipate back into a slow waltzing laze. More than brash bluster and incendiary intentions, 1970's Let Me Try shows the soul-stirring depths the MC5 could reach with their always present and prescient music. Regardless of anyone's political inclinations, Brother Wayne follows Let Me Try with an admonition to vote that should be heeded by all. Returning to the music, Brother Wayne sonically takes aim at Washington, D.C., with Looking at You, also from 1970, as it scrambles from the stage next. Buoyant bass and frantic guitar runs tear through this song from back in the USA. Jamming the song through to the end, Brother Wayne Kramer's 50th anniversary celebration of the MC5's iconic Kick Out the Jams live album ends in rousing fashion. While the night was billed as a celebration of the MC5's 1968 live release Kick Out the Jams, the band's 1970 full-length record Back in the USA contributes a sizable portion of the show's second half with a full 6 songs represented, doling out doses of virulent rock and roll from the primordial waters of 1960s heaviness. Brother Wayne Kramer and his band of overpowered sonic scufflaws turns in an incendiary set of timeless rock expression. From the cowpunk-tinged alternative drawl of veteran locals ATS to the raw rock clatter of the Detroit Cobras, the enduring influence of the MC5 is evident from the beginning of the night straight through to the end, even through to Brother Wayne's backing band, a menagerie of rock, punk, and metal royalty who also harbor a deep and abiding respect for the legacy of the MC5. Brother Wayne's acolytes ripping through an invigorated and lively run-through of the Kick Out the Jams record, followed by a thoroughly rousing selection from the band's influential catalog, delves into the history of one of the most important bands of the past half-century. Backed by a stellar selection of sonic acolytes, Brother Wayne's MC50 celebration perfectly encapsulates the MC5's eternal mission of resolute action through pure rock fury.